What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn, and today we are talking about the wholesale gold mine. And I got so much crap I got to go over with. I got to get right into it. So do me a favor. If you have a question or a comment, make sure you use the comment section. Also, reach out. Find a like-minded wholesaler, maybe somebody new, maybe someone who's seasoned, maybe somebody you want to do a JV in your market. This is the best place to find people that have like minds that want to succeed in wholesaling because all I ever talk about here is wholesaling. Occasionally, I throw in some other stuff. Um, I was traveling last week, so I'm back in the studio. I do like being home, but fishing was absolutely amazing. Hot as hell. The mosquitoes were like this big, but I had a good time. So I like to go out and get in the wild and disconnect just for a little bit. And why wholesale if you can't go out and spend the money and do the things that you truly enjoy? So I love fishing, and that's why I equate wholesaling because it's a lot like fishing, a little bit of wrestling mixed in, and that's why I use analogies so much. So today, think about this. We're going to teach you how to go out and fish and find wholesale deals. And what we're going to do today is non-traditional stuff. I'm mostly going to talk about the stuff I never really talk about because I'm an out-of-the-box thinker. This is how I've done wholesaling for 23 years. And you're not going to find many gurus that are going to go over the stuff I go over today. Why? Because it requires you to be resourceful. Number two, you have to think like someone who doesn't have money, which is how you should always think in wholesaling, because that's how you get the most deals. And number three, why do what every other wholesaler does? You can do that anytime you want. And if you want to learn the basics on how to get started in wholesaling, just hop over to freewholesaling.com. I got it actually just anchored on the bottom here. So I put a few of the topics which I've talked about before. We're going to go real short on those, and we're going to dive in some really non-traditional stuff. And my goal is by the end of this live stream is to open your mind up to ideas, opportunities of where you can find deals. Because you guys always say we have to find the fire, the flames. But remember, a good firefighter looks for the smoke first. So I'm not going to go over government lists today. I'm not going to go over the traditional stuff. We're going to go way outside the box and think about everything. And if you guys have something and you go, man, Rick, you missed it, put it in the comments because this is how we learn from each other. I've been doing this 23 years. If you stop learning, you're done in wholesaling. So my goal today is to teach you guys something new, but hopefully secretly that you guys teach me something new. Now, I've always told you there's no secrets in wholesaling. In fact, anybody who tells you it's a secret, I promise you, you've got a course coming down your throat. So I want to give like a public service before we kind of get started here. I just don't understand. I understand some of the legislation and stuff coming down on wholesaling. Like, I get it. There's liberal states and they want to regulate everything and they want to save every homeowner. And I've always told you to do the right thing. But I just don't know why people think we have to regulate the entire wholesaling industry to make good wholesalers out of it. In my opinion, either you do the right thing on a consistent basis or you're going to learn to do the right thing, or you're just a bad person. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher, you're a cop, paramedic, or a wholesaler. You cannot legislate out the bad wholesalers. They're going to do what they're going to do. And the laws are already on the book. Fraud, forgery, any of that stuff. There's strict felonies against it, which covers 90% of the crimes that you guys keep seeing on the news. So when people tell you wholesaling is illegal, but what I don't understand is I've been in this business 23 years and the amount of people going on YouTube and Instagram, and I just like they're all high and mighty, like wholesalers are bad now. And I make careful note the people I watched, and I've respected most of my entire career to a point. I don't agree with what a lot of other influencers say, but the industry that made them so famous, made them so much money, and the ones that sold, I mean, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in course, now basically tell you how bad wholesaling is. And it's kind of funny. It was good enough to get you where you wanted to go. And now you're all high and mighty. And I got to tell you, man, you better remember where you come from because it's people like me, people like you watching this trying to succeed in wholesaling, doing it the right way. And now you're just going to be basically telling everything wholesalers do is a lie, a fabrication. I'm hearing words like fake. I go, okay, before we get into this, keep in mind, me and Zach's course is 100% transparent. And we're talking about doing, all these organization stuff, which I don't really have a problem with it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right way because, what is the agenda behind it? And the reality is if you want to nip the wrong way to do wholesaling up front, number one is all wholesaling courses should be 100% transparent, meaning everybody should have access to it. But you will never, ever get that voluntarily done. Why? Because it would kill their course sales. And number two, people would see what's going on behind the scenes. And the funny thing is, I constantly get attacked about fake this, fake that, low ball. I'm like, I don't understand. You guys aren't very good business people because that's how wholesaling works. It doesn't mean you disrespect people. It's just a tactic. And now we're using the words about like fake underwriters. Obviously, you don't know what the word underwriter means. That is an insurance and a bank clause. I don't hire any underwriters. If I have a partner that thinks otherwise, this is just normal negotiations. But they'll sell you every course in the world, relabel it, rename it, and none of you can see behind the firewall on it until you buy it. And nobody from the state or the federal government can look into their courses to see actually what they're doing. So until you people that supposedly hate wholesaling, think everything's unethical, think everything's fake, everyone's a liar, but you use the industry to get where you're going, and rightfully so, I think you owe it to show it in a better light. Do we have bad actors? Absolutely. Do we need to be more transparent in what we need to do? That's great. But maybe you should stop shining the light on all the wholesalers and maybe shine it down on your course and show people every part of your course. What's the cost of the course? What's the success rate of your course? How many hours of content? How many contracts are shared? What's the average support for this? Do you have a lifetime membership? How long has your lifetime membership been honored? How many times have you changed the title of the course? You see, to me, you can sit here and talk negatively about the business that made you who you are. And it made me too, and I don't hide from it. But I'm pissed off to find out people sitting there just using terrible words about our industry. Yes, we have some bad people in here. But here's how we start. You can do an organization, you can do any of that stuff. I'm all for like supporting the industry, but why don't we start with ourselves? If you sell a course, make it transparent, or at least give people like a 7-day free trial period so they can see what's going on in the course. And that would take some of the dim light on the wholesaling industry, because I get it shined my way all the time, but me and Zach are the only ones that give 100% transparency. We don't use this, hey, try this free method and I'll suck you in on this. And until we start shedding light on the courses sold for wholesaling, I don't think you can ever fix the problem. Because it's like, don't look at what I'm doing, but look at what everybody else is doing. It doesn't make sense to me. And you know what, for the most part, I think most of the content's probably decent out there. There's some bad stuff, I'm sure. But guys, if we're going to start as influencers, as coaches, as mentors, whatever you want to call them, I'm none of those, in my opinion. Shine the light on you first. Show your courses, show the history, show everything, and give people an educated platform to make a decision. And if you have high quality, you have great content, you have great success, and you've been in the business a super long time, you should stick out like a sore thumb, meaning it would be a positive influence on the business. So I'm just tired of a lot of these titles about how bad wholesaling is and like you should never even do it anymore. Then just go be a philanthropist, do whatever. You're so megally rich. I just don't understand, why do we poo-poo on the industry that made us who we are? And I never forget what wholesaling has done for me. And I just think it's ridiculous to think that you guys cannot benefit from wholesaling. Are there more requirements? Yes. Is there more education? Yes. Is there more technology out there than ever? Yes. But we have to fix this, and we have to do it now. So I do a call out to people out there, like, once again, all the stuff we can do, anything to make the industry more positive. But I've always said, if we just start with ourselves, if you got a course, like, show the entire outline of the course, how many hours are your success rate, how long you've been promoting it, how many times you've changed the title on it, because God knows we know that trick. But I find the same people that are doing that are the ones like, don't tell me what to do with my course. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. So I'm all about education. I believe some of it's actually worth it, but until people can show transparency on it, we keep telling everyone to be transparent, but the people at what you guys consider the highest caliber, you can't get transparency until you cut a big check or swipe your credit card. That's a little troubling. So my stuff's out there for everybody to see. I don't hide it from anybody. So I started this charge over 5 years ago. But remember, me and Zach are the only ones that are living up to it, saying, hey, here it is. Here's what we do, and we've taken advice and feedback, and we've updated it and changed accordingly. But at some point, wholesaling is wholesaling. We go out, we help people in distressed properties that need to sell, and we get rewarded very well for it. I'm not ashamed of it. I absolutely love it. And for that reason, I will always stand up and support wholesaling. I'm tired of watching all these videos, and they all go in a lot. Like, it's like they all got the same, say this, say this. It's like mainstream media. It's like they all have the same titles now. And I don't know, man, we got enough problem from our politicians. I just don't understand people that actually loved wholesaling. At one point, they used to love it. Now it's horrible and they don't want to do it. And now the only way you can get a deal is by talking to a realtor. Oh, that's right. You're licensed realtors. I forgot. To me, that's the worst way to get a deal. It didn't say you can't get a deal as a beginner. I just think it's the worst way. So let's jump in. Let's talk about Goldmine. We'll talk about non-traditional stuff. And let's see. Awesome. Okay, I'm looking at some of the comments here. I got on a tangent there. You guys are funny. Blocking. That's so funny. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's jump into it and let's go from there. So we are talking about Goldmine deals to find whole. So instead of me going over the traditional, hey, here's the government list stuff, let's go non-traditional. And every one of these I'm about to show you is I've gotten wholesale deals off of it. And I've never found them in a course anywhere. Hence, why don't sell the crap out of courses? Because once you sell it in a course, it's not a secret anymore. And it's just a little niche that you got a little bit of an advanced knowledge on it. But this is the problem with everybody selling a course. They're just selling themselves out. Whatever. Okay, I'm not going to go over the whole thing with it. So, okay, freewholesaling.com. So, first one, all you have to do is think, okay, where would I find a wholesale deal that I can find some smoke? We're not talking about government lists. That's the easy route. Not really the easy route, but you already know it. So we're not going to use that one. So one of the best ones I found. So here's what I look for. Somebody that goes out and looks at real estate, looks at properties that got issues and delivers bad news and typically doesn't get the job. Who the hell would that be? If you want to put it in the comments and let me know, I'll tell you exactly who it is. You guys often overlook this. Some of my best deals to come from it. Who deals in real estate all the time? Who has to look at crappy properties that need a ton of work, sometimes 15, 20 years, HVAC systems, roof, you name it, the whole 9 yards. And then who doesn't get the job? So let me know in the comments who's that number one right there. Because I'm telling you, I know exactly who it is. It's like Jonathan's cheating on it. It's contractors for sure. And guys, I'm just telling you, contractors are awesome for wholesale deals. Now, if you think about this carefully. We'll just call them a GC, general contractor. They write up bids on properties all the time. And once the bid usually exceeds $50,000, most people do what? Crap, I'll just sell it. So that contractor's got one or two choices. He could just bury that lead and follow up and probably get nowhere. Most general contractors are pretty poor at doing marketing. It's just, don't shoot the messenger. I've never seen a good GC that's good at marketing, because when they're really good, they don't really need to market that much because they can only handle so much work. Unless you're a roofing contractor, then they take on more work than they can handle, don't have enough labor, and they drag everybody out in contracts, at least in my experience. Anyways, a GC deals with a lot of crappy properties with a big bill. And so when they don't accept the bill, they usually get ticked off. This is where you can set up a relationship with a general contractor, and these failed bids are just great deals to make an offer on the property. Now, if they can warmly introduce you, go, hey, this is my friend Rick. He buys properties. I told him a little bit about your property. I heard you talk about selling it. Maybe we can have a conversation and we can go from there. Now, why would he do it? Number one, he's looking for a fee, a finder's fee, which I got no problem with it. Number two, think about this. Who am I going to hire if I have to do the work on that property? Probably that GC. It's going to be a sticky wicket if you don't do it. And so what I do is I cut them in on a finder's fee, or if it's a trusted contractor in my system and I decide to keep the property, whatever, I'm going to do a wholesale. Obviously not a great $50,000, not a wholesale. I would use that person, but that's a whole nother live stream. I'm not going to go over it with you. These guys have failed bids all the time. So what if they could turn a failed bid into like a $5,000 finder's fee? It's called a marketing fee. It's not a commission or anything like that. And they work to get those leads. They pay for advertising. They meet with people. So it would be perfectly acceptable for you to pay them a finder's fee, anywhere from $1,000 up to $8,000 or $9,000, depending on it. Commercial properties, I've done a heck of a lot more. Guys, it is a wonderful, wonderful deal. All the time they get bids like this and they don't know what to do with them. Now, I will tell you, you're going to have to spend time setting up a relationship with these people. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Contractors are usually busy people, and they tend to not want to mess with real estate investors because they think they're all cheap. And you're going to have to find your way to differentiate it, but it works really well. Coming in at the next one, which is an obvious one, handymen. Handymen look at properties all the time, and here's when you know, like, Rick, why would I deal with a handyman or I said handymen. They look at properties and go, oh my God, like that's extremely bad. And why was the handyman called? The handyman's called because someone's trying to do something on the cheap. They don't want to pay a licensed general contractor, and they want to get it fixed quickly and usually get the property sold. This is why I love handymen. They're like, dude, Rick, I saw this property the other day, and they go just like this. It's right up your alley. It's the exact type of properties you buy. And on that one, I can give a GC guy $1,000, $1,500 for a great deal for a finder's fee. And dude, they will hand it to me all day long. Now, most handyman, they'll market till they get all the leads. They'll go out do 5 or 10 jobs, and then they got to go back and remarket it. So if you can get them some extra money to help them with their marketing stuff, it's phenomenal. I know handyman sounds strange, but you got to understand there's a lot of cheap people out there that don't want to pay a general contractor, and they'll go to a handyman. Remember, a bad property is a bad property. If you send a GC or a handyman, if it's $50,000 or $100,000 worth of work, the handyman can't do it. The GC is going to make sure he prices it right. This is the reason why these two types of construction people are phenomenal. And if you don't do that, you're losing your mind. I used to throw luncheons for GCs and handyman at the same time. And a lot of time they would hire a lot of the handymen to get on their crew, and it was great. It cost me about $200 or $300, but I got plenty of leads out of it. So I'm just giving you ideas. Remember, as a wholesaler, you've got to learn to be resourceful. You can't just do what everybody else does or you get stuck. And if you understand that, handyman, GC, some of the best people that you can hire. We can go from there. Guys, I'm looking at your comments. I'm going to get through this stuff, and then I will answer questions. I will talk to you guys. Okay, next up. Most of you guys overlook this because you go straight to the realtors. And I will tell you the whole realtor angle with wholesaling is just being beaten to death. Honestly, I've never seen it more prevalent. The reason you see it is number one, it sells courses. It seems super easy up front. It's an absolute nightmare in the end. And I get it. Well, I'll do creative financing like that. Well, that's great, but you're not going to make a lot of money up front because creative financing takes time. That's the whole point of it, is to right the ship, let the cash flow settle down, let the equity get paid down, and let the rents go up. That's how real creative financing works. Can you get some doozies in between? Absolutely. But the reality is most of my creative finance, so is 3 to 5 years till I really profit. But when I profit, it's usually 6 figures plus because I'm patient. I like to plant a seed and come back and harvest it. If it doesn't really cost me any money, why not do it that way? But most people understand creative financing takes time. I've watched more people go from wholesaling to creative financing because they think it's a easy fix, a shortcut, only to find out that they wind up getting their own job or they come back to wholesaling to get their paycheck. That's the truth. I don't even hide it. Wholesaling is actual work. So property managers are just realtors in disguise. They are actually licensed realtors and they manage rental properties. I'm specifically talking about single family homes. They're absolutely wonderful. Most property managers manage 500 or more properties because it's an economies of scale. And I promise you, there's about 3% of those houses that are vacant and are in desperate need of being sold. Remember, the whole point of a property management company is what? A lead generation for realtors. And when you get cheap landlords and bad tenants and bad properties, all three mixed together, these realtors are dying to get rid of these problematic properties. The landlord won't fix it up and they keep getting subpar tenants and they get tired of it. And so if you can show them, if they point you in the right way by setting up the right relationship, I'm not going over relationships today, I'm just telling you, mostly young people manage these because they don't pay them a lot of money. And they go, listen, John, if you got any tired, weak, or vacant properties that need some work and you'd like to get them out and make sure you get paid your full commission, give me a shot. Let me make an offer on it. Just tell me what's going on with it. I'll be super quick and I'll make you look like a hero if it works out. And if it doesn't work out, you can do whatever you want with the property. That's it. That's my speech. And it's not that hard to identify which ones have the most rental properties. The more properties they have, the better. And all you got to do is kind of bribe the staff. I used to use donuts. I used candies. I used holidays. I was resourceful. I still am to this day. And remember, on average, 3% of their properties are complete crap. And they'd like to get them sold because the entire goal of a property management company is to derive leads for the realtors to receive commissions. Take full advantage of it. In the old days, I used to walk in and they used to have an entire whiteboard with all the properties, tell me which one's vacant and stuff. I don't think they do that anymore. Be respectful if you see it. Don't take a picture. Just try to memorize the problematic properties. And guys, you would be blown away by the amount of properties they say, listen, Rick, if you can get this guy to sell, I'll be your best friend. And that's what I love to do when it comes to property managers. Guys, 500 to 1,000 properties, I promise you there's 20, 30 properties sitting there that are just garbage. And the only way the rental agent can sort it out is get the property sold because that's what their broker wants them to do. So give them exactly what they want. Don't create anxiety. Let them know, I want to pay you your full commission and just pay it. Because the property is a piece of junk and you're going to get a good price on it anyways. But remember, the only way to get these leads is through the property manager. So you have to befriend them. You got to make besties with them. And you got to work with them on the ones that they want to get rid of. And if you can do it, not only do they get paid to get rid of a headache, they're going to send you so many more deals in the future. And that's why I love to do those deals. So let's keep moving. I got a ton to go through. I didn't realize how many I have. Estate sales. Now, I found this one out by accident. I actually, believe this or not, I attended an estate sale. I wrote down all the estate sales in my area for a weekend, there was either 3 or 4 of them. 2 were a waste of time, tiny little place. And the other 2 were absolutely amazing. I mean, big, giant houses. One of the houses, I'm like, there's no way I could ever buy this house. Anyways, they just like make an offer on anything in the house. It's all got to go. And After looking around like a spectator, like an idiot, I remember going up and finding the person in charge. I'm like, what's going on here? Why is all this stuff being sold? They go, well, she's getting ready to pass, or the house is potentially in probate. That's how most of the conversations went. And we just figured we'd start selling stuff off now. Fair enough. Went to the next one. Same story. Hey, grandpa passed away. We don't have, we're in town this weekend. We want to kind of get the stuff sold pretty quickly. And, if you want to make an offer on everything, let us know. We'd love to wrap that up in one shot. And I remember just a light bulb going off in my head. I go, oh my God, I think I found a gold mine here. And I remember just gold mine. And so I went back with both the properties that day and I made a cash offer on both the properties. Now, one thought I lost my mind and I negotiated with them for 4 weeks. It didn't work out. The second one took my offer 2 days later. And here's the crazy part is the qualifying factor for him was Rick had to buy all the crap in with the house. Well, normally I buy the crap with the stuff in the house anyways. It's a service. So if you understand what estate sales do, their main job is to clear the crap out of the house. And normally when they do it, they'll split the proceeds with the owner, or sometimes if it doesn't sell, they'll guarantee him to get rid of the stuff and get out of the house, but they don't get any proceeds from it. So if the goal of somebody in an estate sale is just to liquidate and get the junk out of there so they can sell the property for a better return, think about this. Why not just make the offer on the property with all the crap in it, and I just buy it as is, and you guys sign the contract and you will go over to the title company and you're said and done less than 30 days. And that's what got my first estate auction sale right there. They're like, you meaning we don't have to hire this estate sale company to keep doing it? I go, no. Now on that one, I had to pay a commission to the estate sale company because they couldn't sell a damn thing. But it was only like $1,800, but it was well worth it. And I made over $50,000 on that house. Then I decided to go look up all the estate auction companies. And then back in 2004 and 5, when I did this heavily, all the way, shoot, I still do it today, is back then they used to have little classified things in the newspaper. Or if you catch me, if you went to an old school diner, they had one of those placemats. And that's where they got all their business. Remember, old people read newspapers and they go to the diners. And that's how they kind of get their ads. So I reached out, I formed a relationship with there was only 4 companies in my area. Only 2 were like legit. Most of these people did this as a part-time hobby business. And they're fine making a couple $1,000s to do all that work. And then most of them own thrift stores on top of it all. And I learned a long time ago that the real money is never in the crap in the house. I taught Zach this lesson when he was 14, all the way through 15, 16. But the reality is the money's in the house. So if nobody wants the house because of all the crap that's in the house, and I buy beat up junkers anyways, why not just buy the whole damn thing and solve these people's problem right then and there? And that's how I came up with it. And then here's what I did from there is they advertise to these people. And then if they know they have an advocate and they can earn their highest commission off getting the house sold, guess what their priority was? It was about estate sales, but they always thought they had to use a realtor to get anything. And the realtor goes, I can't pay you. You're not a licensed real estate agent. Oh, Rick will pay you. He'll pay you a marketing fee. And I could give him anywhere from $1,000 to like $8,000 if I bought a house. It's not a commission. It is a marketing fee. It's 100% legit. They do advertising costs for it. And I became one of their best income producers for them. Now, some of them actually thought they were going to compete with me. It was cute, but they can do it. I mean, I teach anybody wholesaling, but that's a whole different business model. And guys, from that, I just went auction. And then once I had a relationship and I bought a few houses from them, they're like, this house is perfect for Rick. Still had to do a lot of haggling and negotiating, but once they form that relationship with that seller or that representative, it's hard. Once they have that relationship set up, you're a fool if you think you're going to go past it. So they always set it up to where they could never be cut out. And I was fine with it. And after a while, they're like, we trust Rick with it. But I'm telling you guys, these estate sales, they're monstrous. Like old people clutter their house up all the time. Guys, every 3 years, I dump 70% of the crap out of my house. Why? Because I don't want to, like, I can't take this stuff with me. So why am I holding on to this 2 foot piece of 4x4 that maybe one day I'll need? I have enough money, I'll just go buy the other one. Because what you don't understand is that little $3 piece of wood, that stuff adds up and it costs me thousands a month just in storage, clutter. And I like the things to be free in my mind. And honestly, I'm at a point where I usually hire someone to do that stuff for me, unless it's an emergency situation. So, guys, estate sales, like absolutely my favorite. I don't even hide this from you. If you can go out and form a relationship with them, you'll be very happy. Never ever try to profit from the crap sold in the house. It's a waste of time. Guys, everybody thinks their house is worth a fortune with all the stuff inside. Unless it's a brand new house, and even that furniture is discounted, nobody wants the furniture. People don't want to pay for used furniture. It's like a mental barrier thing. And if you understand that, you understand that. So you guys also understand here, I don't use the word commissions. You legally can't. We're not licensed realtors. I'm not even going to pretend to be, but I'm a businessman. And if somebody wants to go out and market and they find someone who's a motivated seller by other means, like an estate auction, maybe it's a rental property management company, maybe it's a GC, you are well in your rights to pay them a fee for that lead. It's called a marketing fee. It works. That's so funny. It's funny, Jason. So this was the final straw when Zach goes, you know what? I get it, Dad. The money's in the house. So this is a true story. Jason, he remembers it because I think Zach told him. Zach was at a house. He got under contract. This was when he was first 16. He goes, Dad, there's a boat. Don't you get excited about boats? I go, no, not on wholesale houses. They're an absolute nightmare. Zach goes, it's on a trailer. It can probably move. I go, Zach, let the boat go. He wouldn't let it go. So I used to teach Zach to sell knickknacks out of the house when he was young, just to try to give him the entrepreneurial edge. He used to do golf balls and stuff like that. He was good at it. And it actually created a great foundation for him to understand how business works. He goes, Dad, I'm not going to let it go. He goes, I can get $1,500 for that boat. So Zach, when he was younger, he used to do the garage sales. I go, knock yourself out. Just get the crap out of the house. And so a typical garage sale, you get $500, maybe $800. And Zach would give like half of them. He was so excited. He's like, I can't earn this kind of money while I was in high school. He goes, the guy came by and offered me $1,000 to buy the boat. I go, just take it. I go, but I don't know how he's going to get out of the backyard. So the guy, apparently Zach cut a deal with the guy. The guy goes, if you can just get that in the front of the house, I'll give you the $1,000 cash tomorrow. So what does my son do? He loses all focus, and he was young. He wasn't completely in the wholesaling. And he went and he got a couple buddies to help move the boat. And this boat was probably in the same spot for 5 years. They get the tires pumped up, and he gets it moved. And then he got up on a thing to get some of the weight out of the boat, and he slipped and fell. And he sliced his leg open. So I get this call like, hey, we're taking your son to the emergency room. He's got a pretty sizable cut. I'm like, how did he do that? I was so pissed. I remember saying, I go, have you learned your lesson? He goes, yeah, I heard you, Dad, but now I get it. I go, yeah, now I'm going to pay what? Like $2,000 in medical. And he goes, Dad, I was just trying to make us money. I go, I know. I go, but there's more money in the house than there is in the actual event. So what I'm telling you guys is I fell in that trap for a long. I even thought about opening my own thrift store. Huge waste of time. The amount of, you ever watch that show? What's that show where they have storage wars where they buy the locker, they open, they go, oh, there's $20 for this. That's all bullshit. There's no way. Like most of the stuff is completely worthless. And I've learned the contents of the house. Guys, I once bought an entire workout The guy dedicated an entire wing of his house. Now, I had somebody that wanted it, and he goes, Rick, split it to me. So I think we paid $5,000 for it. I gave 2,500. I never saw my money again because nobody would buy the equipment. And I'm just telling you, whenever you buy anything used, in the even TVs, guys, they're really bad. So learn my lessons from it. There is no money into buying the crap. It's always going to be in the property. So guys, estate sales. I can't honestly, probably one of my tippy top favorite, because you get people where someone's died in their family, or they have so much crap in the house and they don't know how to downsize, which leads me to my next one, which is going to get a little controversial, but I'm not here to talk about traditional ways to get wholesale. You can get that from any of your famous people that hate wholesaling courses, which charge you a fee and then basically bash our industry. Good enough for them when they got going, but now they are at a higher standards and they're going to pull everybody else above it. It's ridiculous, guys. Most of the laws on the book protect us anyway. So back to it. So if I'm going to a estate sale to get rid of grandpa's stuff because he's accumulated 50 years worth of stuff, really cool stuff, where's grandpa going? Let's just be brutally honest, guys. When people get older, they need assisted living facilities. Now, a lot of people have more money than they know what to do with now, and they can actually afford to get real, like these things are not cheap. So how most people pay for it is they sell their real estate. Yes, they sell their real estate. They start with estate sale auction companies and they wind up in these assisted living facilities. Did you know assisted living facilities will let people sign the deed over their house to fund it, and then they give it to a realtor? So why don't you just cut out the middleman? Now, I find these are best suited with an estate sale company because they already know where they're going to, what they're going to do with it. So if you can work in conjunction with an estate sale company that you already have a relationship set up, maybe you can take that same relationship and set it up with the assisted living facility. Now, I don't want you going knocking on doors on assisted living facilities. I think that's going over the line, my personal opinion, but I know plenty of people that go past it. They're pretty secure with their information. But guys, assisted living facilities are huge, which leads me to the next one, which is the absolute gold mine of gold mines. And I found this one by accident. And honestly, this one was only about 15, 16 years ago. That's how long I've been wholesaling. And so let's go through this again. So we talked about estate sales, assisted living. What would be the tie-in to those two of someone you could get access to get all that information? Because let's face it, when you go to the assisted living facility, unless you know the director, unless you know somebody behind the counter, or you know the seller's like family, their children, you're not getting squat from these people. Trust me, you're going to be put on a special list and they're not going to let you go on. You're going to look pretty rough. So who would we use that would tie us in? And I already know this answer to it because I found it out through years and years of work doing it. So Howard's very close on it. So social workers are a lot harder. I found out that there's actually companies out there that, how do I put this? They represent, they become elderly people or disabled people's guardian ad litem, which means they have a court-appointed representative, which means they have assets, but they don't have the ability to make all their decisions for themselves. I tried endlessly to buy houses with people like that, but the problem is the directors want everything on the up and up, and they think everything should go through a realtor, even sometimes when they're getting less money. I gave up on that argument. So Andrew was right on with what we're saying that. Scott's right on with this one, the person who connected them to the assisted living home. And guys, these people are all on public record. And ready for this? They're geriatric nurses. I think I spelled that right. Yes. Nurses that specialize dealing with the elderly care. It's a gold mine. Now, most of these nurses, there's two types. Ones that are going to work for the facilities. Those aren't the ones I'm going to target. And then they have private nurses. And what people do is they start out with a private geriatric nurse. And as the family member declines, then they transition into a full assisted living facility, and this person helps them transition into them. And these people rotate usually about every 6 months to a year. It's an unfortunate stat, but it's the truth. And I know lots of friends that I've helped out with this. I've bought a dozen houses from people I personally know just through the geriatric nurse. Why? These people have the tightest relationship. They know everything about the family, and they know when a house needs to be sold to take care of bills, and they want a fair offer. And that's what I give on every one of them. I treat them just like they're my own mother. God rest her soul. But we're not here to take advantage of people. We're here to help people out. But geriatric nurses know exactly what's going on. They know the people's time frame. They know when they need to sell by. They know the condition of the house. They know what the mortgage is. They know everything. And they usually just want to help the family out. So I'm telling you guys, here's a little hint. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it because I like to leave a little bit of mystery in what we do. All these people are licensed through each individual state. How they classify them beats the hell out of me. I'm not going to get into the weeds on it, but they have to have a license. So if you can find a heading with geriatric nursing, most of them will travel. And for the record, most of them live with these people. So it's attractive because they get free housing. It is a tough calling to do. If you've ever taken care of someone elderly, it's a lot of work. And I'm just telling you, man, these people have access to a lot of leads and houses like that. You have to be extremely respectful, but I would go to a geriatric nurse before I went to an assisted living facility because they're free roaming nurses that understand these people's dynamics and their family, and they know the ones who need to sell. And remember, they've usually helped them adapt the entire house to make the person in the most comfort in their final days of life. And these houses all need help when that person passes away. And these people are very, very tight with the family, and they'll say, hey, listen, I know this. I know a cash buyer. His name's Rick. He's bought a couple other houses. I can get you an offer. I think it might work. I've seen the condition of the house. That's something you're interested in. And that's all I have them do is warm me up just like that. And some of the best marketing dollars I've ever spent. And remember, I'm not spending anything. So if I have to give them $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, and I'm making a very handsome profit off of a wholesale fee, it's perfectly legit to do it that way. And before you go at me, go, oh my God, Rick's taking advantage of old people. The house is going to be sold for cash regardless. It's got roof problems, got AC problems. They've readapted the entire house. If you ever take care of anyone who's prone to falling or anything like that, you'll understand how these houses are not meant to go on MLS with realtors. They need to go people like me so someone can fix them up, get them to the highest and best use, and get it sold for tippy top dollar. And most realtors can't wrap their head around it. Between the whole bathroom's adapted. They've drilled into the shower walls, support rails. They've got like super toilets on there. They've put padding around all in the house, duct tape it to the wall. You do what you got to do to take care of loved ones. And that's all I'm saying is geriatric nurses, guys. If I ever had to run to it, that's the one I would absolutely go to. And you guys can look it up. Caregiving companies. So James got a good one on that. So the problem is you got to stay away from the big corporate ones because they tend to be problematic. But that's good. Remember, I got to get feedback from you guys on this stuff. Jason says wheelchair ramps. I already been sued for ADA. Now you're giving me like PTSD on it. Brittany says he's right, a private duty nurse on the weekends, and we keep the patients till they very end because they're like family home health center is a good option for wholesalers. So these people have a very, very deep bond with these people. So I've been through this 3 times, unfortunately, in my family. So it's tough. And to have someone come up and do that, and I don't think they get paid correctly for what they do, but it's really hard when the person passes away. So it's hard to take care of people that are sick, especially elderly and dying. So remember, you want to be a compassionate wholesaler. We're here to help people. But I got people out there telling us in our industry we're taking advantage of everyone. We're not. I don't make anybody sell me a house. If it's a good fit, great. If the house will get full MLS, list it with a realtor. But I've seen the house. I saw what my mom's house looked like before she passed away. We had to do everything we can to protect her from falling. Cameras all over the house, padded carpeting, rails on everything. Guys, I don't wish it upon you, but eventually everybody will have to deal with this at some point in their life. Why not help people out? Because eventually the family has to do something. But the family's primary job is to take care of the sick and elderly person. And often they need to bring in professional people that understand how to do this, um, that will actually care for the loved one. So I get all it, dude. You guys get me worked up on this, man. It's tough stuff. Okay, let's keep going here. They work out really, really well. Now, I'm going to do a basic one. I know we talked about this before. I'm just going to brush on it real quick. RIA meetings, Real Estate Investor Association meetings. Now, I used to run one for 7 years in Port St. Lucie. Think about this. You used to come once a month, sit in the front row, and Rick taught you everything while my son sat in the back. And he collected all the check-in fees. I think back on it, what a special time it was. And Zach heard everything. He saw what everybody was like. So he's been programmed his whole entire life for wholesaling. But why I like these is it's a great place to find, like-minded real estate agents that work with wholesalers, title companies that understand what assignment of contracts are, cash buyers, seasoned pros. You had to avoid all the crap that was sold there. I never really did that. I hated every minute of it. And so which they usually, just so you know how a RIA works, is the RIA promoter, which would be me, is jobs to fill the seats through character and content. And then they bring in speakers and then they would split the proceeds. And most of the time the people that come and spoke, they never really wanted to pay you. And they always came up with an excuse why they couldn't pay you this month. And that was one of the reasons I got out of it. It's one of the reasons I don't do coaching and all that other crap, because all it is sales, 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 sales. And then when people have to deliver, it's always a ghost town. And when there's a complaint, I don't even know what you're talking about. And so you see why I have an opinion about this stuff. The problem with the RIAs, they are a hotbed of enthusiasm, which I love. The before and after, absolutely amazing. But guys, support your local RIA, get a membership there. It's well worth it. But don't buy all the crap they try to sell you. Just saying. It's crap. And that's how all the stuff you see on the internet for wholesaling courses, it's just an extension of that. And that's why we have so many problems in wholesaling. Nobody will show you their transparency, but they're telling you you have to be transparent. Why not just nip it in the bud? And if we regulated course sales, we could fix most of the problems in wholesaling, in my opinion, because more training goes through wholesaling courses than it's ever going to go through any traditional organization or any type of government agency. That's just human 101. Like, it's not going to change on that. So I love RIA meetings. Now, here's one. This one's challenging low, and I've had mixed results with it, but some of you guys might have a better angle at it, and I think it's worth discussing. It's moving companies. Moving companies get calls all the time when people want to move. Now, think about this. It's a highly competitive business. What happens to a lead to a moving company when it doesn't work out? Guys, I would imagine more than 70% of their leads don't work out. And what do I do with someone who's interested in selling a house? Dude, that is a golden opportunity for a lead. I don't know if the motivation's always there, but it's still a lead, and it's something you should consider. So if you have contacts with moving companies, or maybe you've had a past history with a moving company, I would pay them X amount of dollars for each lead, like $3 to $5 for every moving lead. You can do it based on zip code or address. But why not? Because they're just going to throw the lead away anyways. And so remember, it is a time-sensitive issue. If someone calls a moving company, it means they're usually looking to move within 30 to 90 days. That's what most people are going to do. Why not? I've done it. I had one company I had good success with. It was a small company, but of course they went out of business like most other movers, and it was a great lead source. So nationally with bigger move companies, I haven't had good success, but maybe someone in this live stream can show me a way to make it work, because I'm just telling you, moving companies are probably the most perfect timing type of leads when it comes to people moving. The question is, what do they do with these expired leads? Now, I'm thinking you to be resourceful and think outside the box like a good wholesaler does, because we can just whine and complain about how bad wholesaling is, or you can find solutions to find leads for your wholesaling business. I choose the latter. That's just who I am. I don't have time to sit here and complain all day about how bad wholesaling is. I think it's just so funny. So, moving companies. The next one, which I know you guys have heard, this is a complicated strategy that's weird, but I've gotten great deals off of it before. And it's bail bondsmen. You should call it bail bondswomen, because I've met more women than men doing this. But this is basically when people get arrested and they have to put up money for a bond. And so here's an example. If you have a $10,000 bond and you don't have $10,000, you can go hire a bail bondsman. They underwrite your risk of what type of crime you've committed, if it's major or not, usually a felony. And so if you had a $10,000 bail, you can they'll put up a bond and you pay them a 10% premium, on average about $1,000. As long as you show up to your court hearing and everything, you get your money back when the whole process is over. Don't get me into the details. I've never been arrested before. I like to keep it that way. But you can imagine the challenge when people get $50,000 and $100,000 bonds. It's really problematic. And what do most people have? What does grandma have or mom has to help their beautiful son that's never committed a crime ever in their life? And he's such a good boy, he would never do that. She can't come up with $100,000, but they'll put a $10,000 lien on the house, and they do an arrangement where they have a certain amount of time to cash it out. And that's what happens. And a lot of times, if the person skips bail or they miss their court appearance or something really bad happens, that house can get foreclosed on. And guess who's in control of that? The bail bondsman, period. And a lot of questionable crimes. I mean, like really bad stuff. People with a really, really high bail amounts, 100,000 or more. Most people have to put up a house, and they usually cannot even pay the premium on it. And who sells these houses? The bail bondsman. They're actually really good at it. They know what they're doing. That's the upside. The downside is most of these businesses are run generation to generation. Most of the ones I deal with are 3 and 4 generations back. They know their business well. They don't trust anybody outside, and it takes a lot to win them over. Now, sometimes they have too much property on houses that aren't all that attractive. And if you offered them, say on a $80,000 house, you gave them like 55 grand right there, they would consider taking your offer. And I've wholesaled a lot of those houses like that. It's not easy. You got to have some funds backing you up. But I'm telling you, they just want their fees at the end of the day. And they know if they lean against the house and they're in the first position, which is how they do it, they know they're getting their money one way or the other because the interest rate just keeps running up on it. So that's why you see people who will put a lien on the house, bail their child out of jail, and then a year or two later, they're being foreclosed on by the bail bondsman. That's where you can come in and rescue the day. You can do it from the homeowner side, or you can do it from the bail bondsman side. And that's the neat thing about it. But please, if you're going to go by and visit these people, do it during Monday through Friday, during daylight hours, and just be really creative, because they have a tough exterior shell, and it's hard to penetrate them. At least it is for the guys. Some of the girls even as well with that. But I love them, man. I tell you, bail bondsman, so Blue Line, I've seen your comment here from it. So if mom had to bail their son out of jail and she had to put up say it was $1 million bond, say he did something really bad, okay? She leaves her house that's free and clear for that 100,000. A year goes by, bail bondsman's like, I need my money. She's like, I don't have it. I don't know what to do. He goes, you got to sell the house or I'm going to foreclose on it. Most likely she's going to have to sell the house. It's the only way the money's coming from. So instead of having her just have the house foreclosed on, you can make an arrangement to buy the house and discount the loan. So say the house is worth $250,000. She owes $100,000, so now it's $150,000. I would basically offer between $100,000 and $120,000, depending on the condition of the house, and have it done. That's a lead, and you can pull those off any public record. If that doesn't work out, I can go to the bail bondsman. I can possibly work out to either buy his note or take over the foreclosure, which I don't like doing at all. I don't want to be the person that forecloses. I always want to be the person that rescues them. So hopefully you can work it from both sides, because homeowners that have a lien on their house after a year or two, they're stressed out because that 100,000 turns into 110, 120, 130, and the bail bondsman at some point wants to get paid. So why not get the house sold, get the bail bondsman paid off, get the seller money in their pocket, and everybody wins. Remember, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make in wholesaling. That's how it should work. My God, how many do I have on here? This is ridiculous. I got to save some time, so we're going to rip through these real quick. Garage sales. I showed you guys how to do this. Real simple. I'm going to give you the 2-minute version. You are not going to the garage sale to buy like Pokemon cards. You don't even go to the garage sale. You look up garage sales. You get the address. You make sure it's not a chronic garage sale person that does it for a living. You look up the owner of the property, get their contact information. If you go through X Leads, it's much easier because you can get all that information. Then you're looking for an absentee owner. How do I know it's an absentee owner? Look for a different mailing address. Once you have a different mailing address, bingo. You have an absentee owner, which means there's a renter there, which means they're probably going to be doing a midnight move out. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to cold call them. I'm going to text them. You can mail them a letter. You can do whatever you want. But cold calling and texting is going to be your best way, and say, listen, I noticed you're having a garage sale at your property. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You now have super information that nobody else has. You just broke to the landlord that your tenant's moving out. You don't even know about it. He already knows the tenant's not paying him. And now he's like, damn, she's having a garage sale. I know what she's up to. And that's when I'm going to take my opportune time. Remember, he's getting no rent. It looks like a midnight move out and the property's probably trashed. What better time than to buy a property like that? Now, might not take it down the first phone call, but I promise you that landlord will thank you up and down. And you just did him a favor, and it gives you a competitive advantage over everybody else. You can thank me later. I believe, yeah, that's it. That's the core. I'm not even going to sell you a course on it. I just gave it to you. I could call it garagesaleflips.com and make a fortune off of it. But I did this over and over again. It's the same pattern every time. Now, the best way to do it is look up Facebook Marketplace, look up for garage sales. In the old days, we used to look up Craigslist. Just call it Rick's List now because Craigslist is out of control. I don't really use it. On this one, I'm not really going to go over in detail. Digital bandit signs, you guys know how to do it. The entire Digital Bandit Sign Academy is inside of freewholesaling.com. If you go over there, I will show you step by step on how to do it. It's very straightforward, and you can get that going right away. And guys, here's the really cool thing. It doesn't cost you a dime to do it. So I don't know why you would avoid doing it. And it works well. On the back side of that is bandit comments. This is a tactic where we let the lazy wholesaler, remember all these high and mighty ethical wholesalers that you have to pay everyone to do everything, which I don't have a problem with paying someone. I got a problem paying someone when you don't have any money and you don't even know what you're paying for. That's what I got a problem for. And so they'll pay these ad agencies to run these marketing campaigns on social media and everything. And we'll buy your house now, sight unseen. And then they turn on the comments section because you have to, because nobody looks at it because they don't think it's real without comments. And people put their leads in the comments. It happens all the time. They can either click the landing page, they can call a phone number, maybe send an email. But most of the time they go, hey, how fast can you buy a house? Good old Rick slides in the DM. I go, we buy it really fast. Can I get your contact information? I get on their phone number. Boom, bought that house. Boom, bought this house. And by the time the ethical wholesaler calls me back, because he or she doesn't understand what the word resourceful means in wholesaling, which was basically is guerrilla marketing, which means all's fair in wholesaling. If you're dumb enough to pay someone $5,000 to $15,000 to run ads for you, do everything for you, and you guys disregard the most important part of the comments, I'm going to own you. And I'm going to show, that's illegal. You can't do that. That's just so unethical. Unethical. Give me a break. The fact that you didn't understand marketing and you didn't take the time as a new wholesaler to master marketing, and now you depend on everyone else to do everything for you, and you're being taken advantage of, and I'm the unethical person, give me a break. You leave the comments on, it's fair game. And you know what? The ad agency said, we can manage those comments for you an extra $500 a month. Ago, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Nobody does anything in the comments. Boom. I know who does what in the comments. Comments are killers, man. I've been served some of the most massive cease and desist orders from the biggest companies in our country because I know how to take advantage of all these comments. I could run a couple $100,000 of advertising, do it for free with a small staff, and destroy people in bandit comments. But I don't have to work that hard because in my area, there's always 2 or 3 suckers looking to do it. And every one of them say the same thing. It's not fair. I'm going to sue me. Sue me. Sue me for being a kick-ass marketing wholesaler. It's what I do best. You're lazy. You think you can pay your way through it. I'm going to take advantage of you. Guys, it happens all the time. All the time. So let's get into this. I'm going to put this one up there because it has to be said. I'm going to go over this real fast. I don't want to waste time on this. The right realtor. Stop trying to message every realtor as trying to secretly buy, trying to be this slick talker. You try to sound like a realtor. You go get your realtor's license, and you think you're going to win the realtor over on your credentials and your verbiage. In the end, you're going to have the same freaking problem as a new wholesaler does. They are trying to sell it for full price on the MLS. Yes, do some slip through the cracks? Yes. The right way to do it is go with the right realtor, meaning meet with the realtor prior to taking a listing and say, listen, if you ever get that ugly property, they go, Rick, what do you mean? You know when you sold them that nice, pretty new home and they call you 10 years later and you go and look at it and they're excited to sell it again? And you look at it and you go, crap, this ain't the same home. It's just run down and you don't have the heart to tell them, like, I can't even list it on MLS. That's when you call Rick. We make an offer. I break the news to him gently. You back me up, and we both win on that. The only way that works if I've predicated a relationship and set it up prior to that lead coming up to them. Now, I can still do it with their tired, expired listings, much less successful. But if they had a 6-month listing, they haven't got one offer, I'm coming in on the last 10 days. They are highly motivated to try to get my offer to stick. Those are the only 2 ways I like to work with realtors. The rest of it, here's a little secret, guys. It sells the crap out of courses. Why? Because it sounds really easy up front, but in reality, it's the hardest way to do it. And that's why they collect your money, they keep you busy for 3 to 6 months, and then you go, crap, I'm going to have to go back over to freewholesaling.com to figure this all out. And that's what happens. Remember, my course is 100% transparent, but the people that are telling you that do things the correct way, to be ethical, to not fake it or anything like that, but they all hide behind a course that nobody can see and nobody knows what they're teaching. If we want to regulate wholesaling, let's start with the coursework. Why not? I started 5 years ago. Ironic that the same people that call out this industry will not call out their own programs. And if we just started with the programs, let's face it, 90% of the wholesalers go through these trainings anyways. So let's find the right way to do it. And trust me, we can all do better, including myself and Zach. But I don't hide the stuff. That's the difference. So I find it ironic that we constantly talk about, we're going to do all this stuff. And I'm all about anything that makes the industry better. But you can't do all that stuff and then disregard your stuff. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's where we're having the disconnect on it. But, I don't know. Maybe someone will prove me wrong. Okay. Here comes a goodie. Boy, that was a lot of information right there. I could literally sell a course alone on just the realtor thing. So like, here's Melanie. Like, I work with realtors, never got offers with them. Melanie, tell me how you were taught to work with realtors. I would love to hear that information. So, okay, I'm reading. Let me keep going here. Bird dogs. You guys ever heard of this? Now, when I was coming up in wholesaling, when I started 23 years ago, yeah, I know my experience is older than some of you guys' ages on here, but that's a good thing. Bird dogs were everything. There was JV was like a new phrase back then. That was joint venture. That's when you partner up with someone. But a bird dog, and bird dog is simplistic. A bird dog is a JV partner that's not really included in the deal, that is just paid for finding the deal. So the word bird dog came from a hunting phrase where you'd send your dog out, they send him in a brush, he would find its prey, usually a bird, and then he would lean forward. This is graphic here. And they would stick out their tail and they would hold a poise. And some will wiggle their tail. They got little nuances. And on the hunter's command, he would tell the dog to go in and flush the bird out, and then they would shoot him. I don't need to be graphic about it. And then the bird dog got a reward for snuffing out the dog. That's all a bird dog is. Do not complicate it. They find a deal and they get rewarded. Now, the question is always, how much does a bird dog get? On average, a bird dog would get anywhere from $500 to maybe $1,500 at tops. It was very rarely went past $1,000. And remember, they just found someone, it worked out, they got them they got a nice little finder's fee. Big difference. Now, everybody wants to be a bird dog. I was a bird dog at one point, then I became a JV partner. Most people start out as a bird dog, then they go to JV. So if you want to seek out bird dogs, it's real simple. Teach them. Teach them how to hunt and look for stuff. Teach them driving for dollars. Teach them reverse driving for dollars. Teach them how to use government lists. Use your X Leads account and give them leads. Give them lists that they can call on. Some of you guys have 60, 65,000 leads in that. There's no way you're going to use them all. Even on your basic plans, you have 15,000. Dish them out. Let them, you're not going to get screwed on the deal. They don't know how to close it anyways. Bird dogs are phenomenal. I started out as a bird dog. And then if you can simply run a program in your town or on your virtual town, and you call it pay for play or earn and learn. That was my favorite, earn and learn. And you just gave a course. You can record it on YouTube if you want to do it virtually. You could do a 1-hour Zoom live or a webinar, and you can go all around the country and teach people how to find deals. Guys, it's what I'm doing with you guys now. I just do it in a more formal setting and spend millions of dollars doing it. It's the same thing. It's marketing 101. Remember, marketing is always the highest skill set you learn in wholesaling. If anybody tells you otherwise, it means they're a really bad marketer and they're trying to spin the narrative on you. And if you understand that, you can do anything. Bird dogs, which leads me to my next one. What do you think the greatest bird dog of all time is for the wholesale industry? And it's a people business, and it's none of the ones I've mentioned before. What do you guys think the greatest bird dog is? Put it in the comments, because I want to reward. I just want to give someone props here. You're gonna have to think outside the box. I think I've said it publicly before. Damn it, somebody got it. I got to give credit where credit's due. Bartender. Guys, these things are gold mines. I got to tell you, some of my best deals have come from bartenders. Why? Think about this for a second. Okay. I don't drink anymore because I don't need to. We'll just leave it at that. So people go to bars to what? Commiserate, to let loose and just relax and be themselves with no barriers. And they typically consume a substance. It's not the alcohol that actually takes them out. It's a little substance inside the alcohol called ETOH, which is basically ethanol. And ethanol makes your mind do things you normally wouldn't do. And people just open up and talk. And who do they share all their gossip and their heartaches and their pain with? The bartenders. The amount of foreclosures I get from bartenders today would astonish you. These people roll out phone numbers, they roll out addresses. Why not? You're letting it all loose. And ethical, non-ethical, guys, it's a bar. It's a public setting. If you're going to rip it out there, but these bartenders know who's hurt and who's not. And if they have the right wholesaler that will help reach out to that person and they have their contact information, that bartender earns one of the best marketing fees known to mankind. And I've had bartenders say, just a guy like me, he goes, Rick, I go, tell me exactly what she said to you. She said, if she doesn't get that property sold by Saturday, she's just going to sign it over to the bank. I'm like, I'll be there Friday night. And that's how I did every one of them. And most of the time they went to the bar on their last desperate thing. Now, I don't want any of you guys to go to a bar to do this. I want you to think of bartenders. Some of my best acquisition people have been former bartenders. Bartenders are extremely resourceful people. I don't even know how they pour half the drinks. Thank God I never drink complicated drinks, but some of you people's drinks are just like there's so much going on in it. I don't even know how they people keep tabs of it. So bartenders, guys, are the greatest bird dogs ever. And I've had a few of them work in my companies because they're such great social creatures. They like talking to people. They like helping people out. It's a natural fit. And let's face it, who wants to sit there and bartend till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? More power to you if you love doing that, but it's not the easiest job. Most people do it just to get by, to cover a gap in their life. Maybe it's from schooling, maybe to take care of their mom or something like that. And it's not bad money because people drink a lot, tend to tip a lot. And one of the reasons why I don't really do it anymore, but I don't get any benefit out of drinking the ethanol and the alcohol. You take that out, that's a whole different ballgame. But guys, I just gave you a crash course on basically how to almost dominate really anything. And these are just outside the box. I could go on all day on this stuff. And I don't know why me and Zach are the only ones that ever talk about this stuff. You have to be wildly resourceful in real estate. There's no other way to do it, because if you don't, you're kind of stuck. Now, if you guys are interested in doing a deal with us, I put it on the bottom of the screen, sellmypaper.com. I'm working on at least a dozen right now, and I got like 3 or 4 more. And I might close it down for a little bit because I got to get through a lot of these deals because it does require time, some capital, and some of my expertise. But I absolutely love doing them because I'm being resourceful marketing with you guys, and I want you to learn the lesson from it. You can take me and Zach's same ingenuity, and you can actually do it yourself. You just do it on a smaller scale, and you work your way up. Remember the earn and learn? It's a powerful one. Remember how to how to connect with the estate sale companies? Same thing. Geriatric nurses, same thing. I want to keep it going with you guys so you guys know exactly how we can do it. So let me answer some questions here and see what we can do. So guys, I've done another step to help us out. I have one of my acquisitions employees is now helping me go through the stream. So I can't always go on and do lives with you due to time constraints, all sorts of things that go on. But if you have a deal, number one, submit it to sellmypaper.com. If you have a deal and I can't connect to you and you don't know how to put it in sellmypaper.com, put a note in here, because what we're doing is transcribing this stuff when we pull it out, and we'll reach out to some of you people. Now, you are required to have a school account. If you don't have a school account, I'm not going to reach out to you because I don't think you're serious about what you're doing. Why? Because it's free and simple. And then that way I know you have access to freewholesaling.com. So make sure your titles, you guys got some cute titles, but make sure your school name inside of freewholesaling.com, which is how you get to freewholesaling.com, is the same as your screen name on here. Would be very helpful. If not, please put something in parentheses. I've been having some luck reaching out to you guys, helping you out that way, because there's only so much that one person can do in the studio. So if you have something, you put a note in there, we'll transcribe it, we'll take a look at it. And if you have a school registered account, if you don't, go register right after you do it. And that's how we make sure you're like legit, because I'm not going to waste my time calling people that don't do that. Let's see here. Okay. I had a few comments on here. What's up, Platinum? How you doing? Looks like I saw your deal pop up there, and I believe I gave it the green light. So hopefully she gave you a thumbs up on it, if I got the right employee on it, and we'll be in contact soon. So guys, it's like I do JV deals, but they got to be like, you got to pass the mustard test on it. Unfortunately, most of them get rejected because I can tell who looked at freewholesaling.com and who didn't. And if you understand that, if it's a great deal, then I'll partner up with you. I don't want people to suffer on it, but let's bring the right deal, and that'll give you access to me and my team. and we have a lot of fun with it. And but I need good deals. Average and below average deals, they're absolutely everywhere. I'd have to do hundreds of thousands of them to make work. I'd rather hand select some great deals and make everybody money. And then the idea is you flap your wings on your own, and you can do whatever you want after that. Um, so I'm looking at this comment. I love Who Else himself, but I could never ID you in school. So if you want to put a message before this close out and give us like some real information here, I want to help you out, but I can't, I couldn't even go look you up in school. So sometimes I look at you guys' comments, I catch it, I go, that was interesting. And then I reach out to you through school, and then either myself, Zach, or one of our employees reaches out to you. So if you get a chance, Who Else himself, let me know. I'd love to help you out, but I need more information than that. So Brian writes on your Rick, no matter what they say or do, please do not leave us when you're doing well, make history. You guys are truly awesome. Can't beat it. 25 years myself. So we appreciate it. Remember, the reason we do this, I honestly feel like me and Zach are the true reflection of what the average wholesaler feels, what they're going through, and the obstacles they have to encounter when going through this landmine field of wholesaling. And guys, it doesn't just stop with courses, with all the marketing stuff you guys are sold and all these magic pills on these contracts. And I pretty much test it all out. Now, they all work to some capacity, but a lot of it's not wholesaling anymore. And that's where I try to decipher out what's going on. And you got to admit, if every wholesaler, influencer, or whatever you want to call them now, because it just seems like everyone's just general real estate, is if they were just if they agree with everything me and Zach would say, I would be very nervous. The fact that most people don't agree with what he says, meaning I know I'm touching on a point that's true. And the average wholesaler is not represented anymore. You guys are so far misrepresented. They believe everybody should go through a course. Everybody should be part of an organization. Everyone should have some sort of licensing capacity. And everybody has to do exactly what the herd does. If you do that, you're not a wholesaler. You're going to become a bona fide licensed realtor because that's all realtors do. Do you know very few realtors actually make any money? The gap between realtors and wholesalers that make money, you give me 10 quality wholesalers, I can promise you 9 out of the 10 beat the realtors hands down. And I'm talking about the good realtors. Unfortunately, most realtors are just hobbyists because it is a money grab. It doesn't take much to pass that license. My dog that's recently passed away could probably pass that license. I'm sorry. And it teaches you nothing about real estate. It's all about keeping you in compliance and keeping you in check and paying fees to the masses. So a lot of information there, a lot of information. So so if you guys are new to this, I put it on the bottom, freewholesaling.com. The only 100% free wholesaling course that's 100% transparent. And we've updated the entire course to modernize it for 2025 with all the changes. We put in all the contracts. We have 40 hours of videos, and we have streamlined the entire process. If I didn't answer your question here, I promise you, you can get it answered there without a hiccup at all. Make sure you check that out. Let's see what else we got going on. We got the new release of X Leads getting ready to come out shortly. You guys, a little hint, you might want to get on board now because I'm going to give you a big pay raise by doing it. So I honor all my agreements, but when it changes, it changes. The last time I told you a change was coming, nobody believed me. Some of you took advantage of it, and then I've got 6 weeks of phone calls. I can't believe you actually did it. Me and Zach actually do everything we say we're going to do. I don't have this sign up now, limited spots available because it's a line of BS. That line should have been outlawed in 2005. Limited seating, evergreen, lifetime membership. You guys know all that stuff is BS. It's strictly for the sale. Nobody can live up to a lifetime. Nobody. Not honestly, I don't even know if I could. And I've been in the business 23 years. I've watched people after people disappoint me, and they all get it from the same people that teach all these courses, it sells more. That's why they say it. Remember, what people say, what people they do, you've got to disseminate between by voting with your time and money, and you got to understand that. So that's the part that just drives me nuts on it. So let's see. Interesting. What's up, Anita? It says I went through 2 gurus before I got to you and Zach. I've been getting good leads ever since then. Thank you. And remember, guys, I'm not frowning on other people's courses. My problem is they're all hidden behind paywalls, and we don't know what's going on in any of these courses. So it's easy to sit there and pick me apart from a distance. Then make yours transparent too. Well, mine's paid. That's fine. Then make it 3 or 7 days where everybody can look at it. I'll do the same. Oh, that's right. I've been doing it for 5 years. I try to inject some humor into this because if not, this stuff gets boring. So many people just get like so stuck in their wholesaling expertise. And I've been doing it 23 years. And honestly, you guys have taught me a few new things today. So, Melanie, if you go over to freewholesaling.com, which I will put it up right here, we walk you through everything. We even give you recorded phone calls and everything. And then once a month, either Zach or me and Zach together go through and do live calls for you. So we're as transparent as we can be about it. We don't go through realtors because we believe that's just a time waster, and it very rarely results in a deal. So we don't want to waste your time, and we don't think that's representative of what the wholesaling community does. So make sure you check that out, and that should help you out there on that. So guys, I'm going to be on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Flip with Rick channel. We've changed the time to accommodate so we can have more of you guys tune in. And hey, it's summer. Why not? 5 p.m. Eastern will be on there. Got a really good topic. I'll see you guys then. If you guys have a deal, send it to sellmypaper.com. Let's connect. Let's JV. Let's do business partners. Let's do a deal together. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.